And now you have the boot sector launch, so you do have a negate with Dragoon. Even if these are the last two cards in your hand, you have some gas. Yo, what is up everyone? It's I, TCG, back here with the brand new video. I'm gonna be honest, I got too pumped up to make this deck profile and this video that I got almost no sleep last night. But we're gonna pop up. I'm gonna show you guys the Dragonmaid deck profile that I mashed together. Shout outs to Pac and Milano. I got a lot of my inspirations from them. I pretty much took what I liked out of Milano's list, took what I liked about Pac's list, and then meshed the two together into a list that I really enjoy playing, and I want to share with all of you. Last night we went 4-1, and in last match I lost to lost to Infernoble in the new format, but I looked it over. Huge misplays on my part, so could have potentially won that one. Let's get to it. Alright everyone, we are back. Here is my competitive Dragonmaid September deck profile for the 2020 September format with Harpies, Feather Duster back, and Call by the Grave at 1. Very unfortunate, but we gotta deal with it. So anyways, if you're new to the channel, hi, I'm TCG. I pretty much do every single kind of Yu-Gi-Oh content under the blue. So if you want to just become a better duelist, because I want to share my experience with you and just grow as a player and help you grow as a player as well, feel free to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. Anyways, if you're new to this deck, so how Dragonmaids work, it's like a pseudo version of Dragon Link, but with like funky like mechanics. So if you guys don't know this, the little kitchen and the nurse and all the other mini Dragonmaids can warp into a larger Dragonmaid from the graveyard and siphon itself back into the hand. So on the next turn, you have another play with your, mini Dragonmaid, and then your big one stays on the field. And also, if you happen to have a fusion monster in the field, the big ones cannot be destroyed by card effects. So it's kind of a free perk. It's super cool, super quirky. A lot of people don't know what this deck does. This deck hyper extends a lot, and just for the sheer pressure of the opponent not knowing what the deck does, they're most likely gonna be in a worse mindset, a worse place when they're playing against this deck. So you can get a lot of like more free or gimmicky wins that way. So let's get to it. On to the main deck. We're playing exactly 40 cards. I will pretty much talk the main deck, talk about the extra deck, side deck, then do some combos for all of you, then do some test hands, and we're just gonna have fun with this. All right, let's do it. Field centers in the description below if you want some. All right, so I'm starting with 3 kitchen Dragonmaids for the monsters. You have to play 3 kitchen. It's not the best because yes, it does give you a Dragonmaid search and it has to be a monster, but you also have to pitch a Dragonmaid monster. If you had to pitch a Dragonmaid card, it'd be phenomenally better, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if Konami was thinking of Dragonmaid tidying when making kitchen Dragonmaid, and or if it was just a Stratos, it would have been better too, because quite frankly, a lot of times I resolve kitchen, the card I add is the card I discard anyway, so it's like a Parlor but reverse version half the time. Obviously, on top of that, you're playing 3 chamber. This is the +1 because you are getting your Dragonmaid spell or trap from this. So most of the time you're going to grab changeover if you don't have it yet, but if you want to extend further, you grab hospitality off a chamber. Not too much to talk about this. It's a free +1 and it pretty much sets you up for the rest of the duel. I do try to fish for this ASAP. And then arguably the best Dragonmaid, Parlor. Because of tidying, Parlor is so much better, like a million times better. This is the Foolish Burial for the deck. It's pretty bonkers because this is literally a 1-card combo into what I'm gonna show you guys in a second. So it's pretty neat. Playing 1 nurse, I think it's best at 1. You can search it out. Most of the time you grab it off of LP, so it's not really too big of a deal if you have this card or not, but I like it at 1. I can't see it being played at more because early game you never want to have this, and then late game is when this card pulls through. And then for the big dragons, I am playing 1 Earnest. Earnest is going to give you that special summon. Some people play 3, but since this can only special summon at level 4 or lower Dragonmaid from your hand, especially since it's only from the hand. If it was from the graveyard, I'd run more, but it's special summons from the hand. So let's say like you have Nurse and Earnest in your hand. You have to pitch the Earnest, to special summon the nurse from your hand, and now you're out of 2 cards in your hand. If you have an established graveyard, it's pretty good, but if you do not have an established graveyard, it's not gonna quite pop off as hard, and most of the time you just want this in the graveyard anyways. And last but not least, I'm playing 1 Lorpar. That is the last of the Dragonmaid cards. It's either a toss-up between Lorpar and Tinkek. If you play Tinkek, you get the 2k buff for your dragon monsters, which is super neat. However, the problem is you don't always go into battle with your cards alive. A lot of the time, when, especially in this format, you're gonna have a clear field and then they're gonna go into battle phase. Especially if they actually read the Dragonmaid cards and realize they shift out during battle. Tinkek just doesn't have the application. But Lorpar, if there's a problematic card in the field that can be targeted, it has to be a monster, obviously, but you can discard it and then that card becomes nullified for its turn. So like, let's say they have a Makaba, you can discard Lorpar and then they have to force the negate on Makaba. Because, I mean, or they're just going to keep it and then keep the Alistar in the hand. But if you pitch this, it's just super free. I kind of wish it didn't target, but, you know, it can't always happen. So that's all the Dragonmaid monsters. And we're playing for the hand traps. Obviously, we're playing Triple Phantasme. Triple Phantasme is so good right now. You know, Infernoble is running rampant. And a lot of people are playing slightly more hand traps, and you're gonna see combo more relevant too because of Infernobles. Every time I drew into this, I resolved it. Like every single deck I played against linked in some way, shape, or form. Rogue, meta, doesn't matter, they're gonna link in some way, shape, or form. And if they don't link, that's completely fine too, because if it's in your hand, you can use Dragonmaid Changeover, which is the fusion. You can fuse both Phantasme and one of your Dragonmaids to make a, what is it called? I'm blanking out here. Dragonmaid Shield, or if you have 2 darks, you can make a Furious, which is one of the tech cards I am using, a Borolo Furious Dragon. So it's pretty darn neat. Not too bad, because it's a dragon. If it wasn't a dragon, I'm not sure if I'd run this at 3, but bygones be bygones. 2 Ash Blossom. I like this at 2. A lot of people play this at 3, but I kind of don't want to see more than 1. It's just player preference. If I play exactly 2, it's really hard to have 2 in your hand. But if you play 3, it's gonna happen quite often. If I was playing like a deck like Invoked or something, I could probably play more because it's fire, and also obviously Dinos because they want fire stuff. But alas, I digress. 2 Ash Blossom is, in my opinion, the way to go with this deck. And on that note, 2 Nibiru as well. So Nibiru has helped me a lot. I do not want to have more than multiple in my hand. So you can argue that, yeah, you want to play 3 to always open up Nibiru, but here's how I kind of see it. So Phantasme, I'm playing 3 because it's the most important one. Phantasme, if I'm playing a 40 card deck, right, and I play, what, 10 hand traps in this build, I'm going to have a roughly a little bit over 75% chance to open a hand trap. But if I draw Phantasme, my hand size now becomes 7 because I had an opening hand size of 5, and then I'm drawing 2 more cards from my deck. So now I have 7 cards in my hand, and I think it's like an 82 or 83. It's a really high number of me getting into another hand trap with Phantasme, and also simultaneously letting me fix my hand at the same time. So if I draw any bricks or garnets that I don't want to see, Phantasme is going to help a lot. And that's why I'm opting to run this ratio of hand traps. I could try to fit in some more, but I personally just don't think I have the space for that. Because of the spice I am running, I am playing 3 Magician Souls for the draw power. So why am I playing Magician Souls? So Magician Souls with Apprentice, obviously 1 Apprentice. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that one. So Magician Souls is a free effect monster. A free effect monster for Verte Anaconda, which you guys obviously figured out I'm playing because I'm playing Magician Souls. And you get to dump your Tidyings, which is your Dragonmaid trap card that resolves in the graveyard, and you get to draw cards off of it. So you get to pitch the cards you don't want in your hand, you're gonna draw off of it, and then you could draw into potentially another hand trap, which is very likely, and or just another extender that you need. And at the same time, you're simultaneously thinning out your deck. You're using Magician Souls, you're pitching the Apprentice Illusion, so you're not gonna draw into Apprentice Illusion, and then you're gonna draw one. And in the worst case scenario, you draw into Apprentice Illusion, you can pitch your Tidying, which you already had in your hand anyways before activating Souls. I'm just hypothetically saying it here. And you can summon Apprentice Illusion. Now you have a 2k body, and you can pop up with Tidying because it's an extender that activates in the graveyard. So super neat. And the bricks, you're playing 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon, 1 Dark Magician because you are playing Red Eyes Fusion. And in the worst case scenario, if they hit your Verte with like an imperm at whatever, you can still change over with your leftover Red Eyes in your hand. So it's pretty dapper when it comes to that situation, which is super nice. I like that a lot. So you can still make a negate even if they hit your Verde. Now on to the spells. Playing 1 Boot Sector Launch. Oh my god, Akemi, what are you doing? Why are you playing Boot Sector Launch? You are bad at this game. You play no rocket monsters. Let me explain. So when you make Red Eyes Fusion or Dragoon, there is a kind of decent chance you're gonna have one of these in your hand. And if not, even after you make Dragoon, you play your 2 monsters, you make Verte, and then you pay the 2k, and then you get rid of the bricks from your deck, and then you summon Dragoon. Now, with Dragoon, if you want to negate something, you need to have a card in your hand as well. And Boost Sector Launch is kind of like that free fodder. Boost Sector Launch also be pitched off of literally Magician Souls. And it's so good because you can just draw another card off of it, which is super neat. So that's why I like Boot Sector Launch. It's also there as like kind of like a gimmick. Sometimes people get scared, they see Striker Dragon, they're like, oh man, Dragon Link combo, Boot Sector Launch, right? Because Boot Sector Launch, in hindsight, is an extremely strong card. And if they think that you're playing any sort of rocket deck, which they have the right to assume so, they are going to hit your Striker Dragon, and that is not a blow to you at all. Because it's like, okay, I just yeeted a Veiler, or I yeeted an Ash off of your hand, and now I don't have to deal with that 1 extra card in your hand, and now I also don't have to deal with that Ash for the rest of the turn, if I decide to search. So that's why I play that Boot Sector Launch. It's really good. And also, when you sideboard, you can decide it out. 1 changeover, great card. You only play it at 1. You only kind of want to see it at 1. You can search it, do whatever you want with it. You can search it, dump it with the Parlor, and then bounce it. And then it just does literally everything the deck wants to do, but you never want more than 1 because it's still a polymerization. So since it's searchable and it dumps back from the graveyard, if they decide to Macabre this and banish it, then it's not really too big of a blow anyways because you have extenders. Playing 2 Hospitality. I'm not playing enough Dragonmaid monsters to justify running this at 3, and I am playing a different card that I'd rather run at 3 instead. And with Hospitality, the dumping effect kind of doesn't come off as often because I don't play the big dragons, but it's better because I don't like drawing to the big dragons because they are, for lack of better words, bricky. 1 Red Eyes Fusion, obviously for the Dragoon plays. 1 Monster Reborn for the extender, and then 3 World Legacy Guardragon. This card is literally the best card in the deck. Hands down, it turns any Dragonmaid into a free Verte Dragoon, and I'll show you that too. And also, it makes your plays super fire. It's super good. So you have to play 3 World Legacy Guardragons. There was one time, and bricks are going to be inevitable regardless of what deck you play, where I literally drew into, I think, 2 World Legacy, 1 Monster Reborn, and then 2 Hospitality. The chances of that happening are so low, but I mean, it does happen. Obviously, we're playing Rogue here, so it does happen. 3 Dragonmaid Tidying. This is the best card in the deck. I run this at 3. It's a compulse. It does pretty much everything your deck wants it to do. I really wish it tributes your Dragon Monster instead, but because that means you can set one of your cards and still bounce. That's why Red Eyes Fusion is kind of like, it's alright. And this is a bounce for any card. So let's say they have a problematic field spell. They have a problematic card on the field, like say like Summon Limit, which kind of it's okay against this deck, and usually it hurts the opponent more if they're playing combo. But any problematic card they have, just resolve this correctly and you'll be super fine. And then last but not least, 3 Imperm. That's the last 3 hand traps I run. I still think this is the best hand trap this format. You can't get 3 tactical, can't get called by even though it's at 1. I know some people still play it at 1. You can't get 3 tactical. Pretty much it's really hard to negate Imperm, and you kind of have to prepare for it. Like if your opponent has a back row, you have to kind of assume it's always Impermanence just because it's it's a meta card. That's just how it is. Anyways, on to the extra deck. If you're liking this video so far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe as well. 1 Salmon Gray Almirage. this is the Guardragon plays, and I'll show you that as well afterwards. 1 Striker Dragon for the boot sector, and I have space for it. This, I'm not gonna lie, this extra deck's kind of flexible. 1 Verte for the Dragoon, 1 Borosaur because you're playing a Dragon deck, so obviously you gotta choke your opponent out. 1 Elpie, 1 Pisty for the Dragon Link, 1 Crossroads to extend on the Dragon Link plays, 1 Hieratic Seal. I might bump this up to 2, but quite frankly, in the recent tournament and also the games I made Dragoon more often than this, but it already just depends on the matchup. But in Infernoble, Hieratic Seal is going to be infinitely better than a Dragoon Negate, since Augur protects their cards from destruction anyways, so Seal can come up a lot more often. 1 Borolo Furious. Borolo Furious, I'm playing it because a lot of my dragons are darks, and in some cases, let's say if you want to go for the Verte play, you're locked at a plant, so you can't do anything. You can't summon Verte until you get rid of LP and Pisty. So once you can use Changeover, get rid of LP and Pisty to summon Borolo Furious, okay? And then with the leftover Dragonmaid that you're going to have on the field, after you do the combo, you can bounce it back with the Changeover you just used because you searched it off a chamber and it didn't use the bounce effect. And then you can either extend and go for Verte, or just straight up go for Shio because it's safer, because your Verte can still get, you know, affect Villard or Mournered or whatever. But however, your Shio is a lot safer to play because your Verte is super susceptible to literally most hand traps right now. 1 Dragoon, really good card. 2 Shio. I'm probably gonna cut this down to 1. I didn't have a time where I could have summoned multiple. I'm gonna keep testing this at 2 to see if I like it, but when you use it, it just bounces itself back to the extra deck anyways, and you summon house. So you might only need 1, but the only problem is if somebody warning or judgments or strikes this, then you're kind of out of luck for... Well, actually, can you strike it? Yeah, special summon on a monster. No, you can't strike it. They have to judgment your changeover, or they have to warning your changeover. So if it does happen, push comes to shove, then yeah, I'll keep it at 2, but you can probably swap this out for something else. 2 House Dragonmaid. You play 2 just because there's a chance 1 might be lost, because after you use Shield and you switch out into House, it wasn't successfully special summon or successfully fusion summon, so your opponent, or rather, you can't reborn it, you can't hospitality it, because it had to be first special summon or fusion summon correctly first. So once it hits the graveyard, after it's summoned by the effect to show, it stays there for literally the rest of the game, because we're playing nothing to recur it back. So that's why I run the 2. And once you just Goldred, this card, I feel like is a win more card, because by the time you summon 4, you're probably gonna win the game anyways due to the Dragon Link shenanigans. So that's just kind of how it be. I'll probably replace this with a Borolo Dragon, most likely. On to the sideboard. 3 Droplet. This card is good right now against Infernal, against literally any deck, because it's non-targeting and they can't respond to it if you pitch a monster. And sometimes you pitch the big dragon, it's just free. Or even pitch the boot set a lot, just free. 3 Lightning Storm because you go in second. Evenly Match, or rather Harpy's Feather Duster, 1, 3 Evenly Match, and 1 Red Reboot. That's all the going second cards. You play all of these just because this deck does lose to heavy control, and I want to make sure that, you know, your opponent really kind of doesn't get the chance to play, and you just play throughout pretty much all of their boards. And going first sideboard cards, if you know you're going to go first because your opponent's playing going second, you're playing 3 Judgment. Judgment is so bad if you're going second and you draw into it. It's so bad. So that's why I put it in the sideboard. If I know I'm going first, let's say I want to do it and I'm like, okay, I'm going first, I will put the Judgments in and also put in the Sloth. And Sloth is there for Hieratic Seal if I'm going first, and this is a big blowout card because Hieratic Seal is super easy to summon. But it's so funny because every time I sided this in, I drew into it my opening hand. I don't know if it's really poor luck, but it does happen. Yeah, Sloth is gonna get you places for sure. Good card, good card. Also, one more thing is if you draw into it, you can use Changeover to pitch your Sloth and your Chamber or literally any of your other Dragonmaids to summon Shoal anyway. So it's actually not dead in your hand. It just gives you free fodder for a polymerization. Now on to the combos. Combo number 1 is going to be with 1 Parlor Dragonmaid. And I'm going to use the field centers. These are going to be the extra monster zones, and these are going to be the monster zones. So you're going to summon Parlor. Parlor activates effect. You're going to pitch Dragonmaid Tidying. Alpha Dragonmaid Tidying. Or rather, you're going to link into Striker Dragon. With Striker Dragon, you're going to add Boot Sector Launch to your hand. Now, you're going to banish Dragonmaid Tidying. Special summon the Parlor back. Unfortunately, the effect is once per turn, but that's fine. You're going to link these two up, and you're going to go into Verte, Anaconda. Now at Verte, you're going to pay 2,000. Red Eyes Fusion with Dark Magician and Red Eyes Black Dragon to summon your Dragoon. Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And now, after that 1-card combo, so you still end up with 1 card in your hand. So you still have the Boot Sector Launch to pitch for Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So you actually didn't neg at all, and you still have 4 cards in your hand. So that's just basically the bread and butter of 1-card play. Let's say if you open like 3 hand traps in a Parlor, then this honestly isn't a bad play at all. Because now you still have that negate with the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and it doesn't interfere with any of your hand trap combos. So here's the next combo. Video is running really long, so if you guys want to see a full combo video where I spend 20 minutes talking about Dragonmaids, let me know down below. Straight combos only, right? Normal summon Parlor. This is gonna be an OTK combo, by the way, so you can adapt it for going first or second, just depending on how you play this particular combo, but it's really good. So you're sending Chamber off of Parlor, World Legacy Guardragon. It's gonna get yourself your Chamber back, then you're gonna add your Hospitality from your deck to your hand. I'm just gonna leave it here for now. You're gonna link off the Parlor you normal summoned to get Salmon Great Alma Rush. Then you're gonna link off your Chamber into LP. You can use World Legacy Guardragon, move over LP to the side. Now LP can summon itself or summon stuff. So LP into Nurse from the deck. Now Nurse is going to activate its effect. You're going to summon Chamber back from the graveyard. You do want to keep Parlor there just for now. You're going to link these two off and go into Cross Rose Dragon. Afterwards, Chamber is going to shifty out into Pisty. Now you're going to use Pisty. You can get back Chamber, Nurse, doesn't matter for those two. Then you're going to use Hospitality, and you're going to send your copy of Lorpar to the graveyard because you summon Parlor. So in reality, you would summon Parlor first, and in the same effect afterwards, you would send Lorpar from death to the graveyard. You can do the same with Nurse as well. It just really depends on what big ones you're playing, but you kind of don't want to get Chamber with this because there's no Dark Dragonmaid that we know of as of current date. So when that's all said and done, you link all these two off, all 4, into Borosword Dragon. Now you're gonna link off either of these into Striker Dragon. You're gonna get yourself a copy of Boot Sector Launch. You're linking these two off and go into Verte Anaconda and use its effect. Pay 2,000 mil, or not mil, but rather pay for cost 2,000, and then get your Dragoon out. And now you have the Boot Sector Launch, so you do have a negate with Dragoon. Even if these are the last 2 cards in your hand, you have some gas. Obviously, they're going to hand trap you, so you can play this kind of differently accordingly. And I'm going to rewind that back so you guys can see how you can play that without having to play Verte, because some people are waiting for that card. So rewind is super simple. If your opponent, you think they're playing Veil, they have 1 card in your hand or 5 cards in hand, and you're feeling kind of iffy, and they're at a point where like, oh, I don't really know how to play around this deck. You go back here. Don't summon the Verte. Use your Parlor. So you go into battle phase. If they have Veiler, cool. If not, then it's too late. They can only do it during main phase. They go into battle phase. Start a battle phase. Parlor is very important. You're going to go back to your hand and you're going to shift out. This also gives you a play for next turn too, by the way. So it just really depends on the risk you want to take. And you can summon Lorpar from your graveyard. Now you have enough gas for game anyways from these cards. Alright, now we're going to do 2 test hands. Shoutouts again to Pac and Milano, the duelists, for inspiring me to, fix up this deck, try to figure out the weaknesses and try to capitalize on the good and the bad points of it. If there's anything I would change in this deck, I would probably put in 3 tactical towns, 2 of them, and I would play the deck at 42 so I can avoid drawing into Red Eyes Black Dragon and Dark Magician. So that's still in the works. I will try it out. So anyways, I shuffled it live. Roll the dice. 4, so I put 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put those 4 on the bottom, and then I draw my 5 for the turn. Hand trap, nice. Chambers, pretty good. Extender. Okay. Let's see. So we got 2 hand traps, Nibiru and Imperm, which is to be expected. You're definitely gonna draw into hand traps here. So you summon Chamber. You still pop off even if they Imperm this or Veil this. And you're gonna grab yourself either Hospitality or Monster Reborn. Completely up to you how you want to do that one. Because you already have Tidying, and it's kind of awkward. You kind of don't really have any plays with Changeover right now, so... Nor can you make a Guardragon play, because you don't have War Legacy Guardragon. So the best play you can really make right now, and this is like the whole reason why I added in to this deck, is literally the Verte play. So Striker Dragon. Because even if they hit your Chamber with Imperm, you can still play around it because you already had a Monster Reborn in your hand anyway. So your Striker Dragon is going to get yourself a Boot Sector launch. And then you're just going to Hospitality the Chamber. Because the Monster Reborn is more generic anyways. And you're going to link these 2 off into Verte. And Verte, you can use its effect. Get that Dragoon. Bam, 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 bam. Get that Dragoon. I kind of put them like away from the link zones because sometimes I want to use them. I've actually like had a duel where I ended up Guardragon comboing under Verte before I summoned Dragoon, obviously. So now you have Interruption, you have Imperm, and if anything, worst case scenario, you can pitch Tidying to use Dragoon's effect. And then on your opponent's turn, you can banish it to summon Chamber and get yourself some gas for the next turn. It really depends on up to you how you want to do it. Or you can just hold on to the Chamber in the graveyard and then banish the Tidying and summon back your Chamber. So hypothetically, let's say like there's the next turn. I'm just going to explain it here. So let's say like you use Dragoon's effect, they kill Dragoon, and you banish or you send Tidying off of Dragoon's effect. Okay. You're gonna draw. On this next turn, obviously they're gonna kill Verte too, maybe. On this next turn, you can Reborn. Obviously, you can Reborn the Dragoon, it's free. You can Reborn the Dragoon, but if, let's say, they banish it off Ice Dragon's Prison, right? I'm thinking of like the worst case scenarios here. We're thinking of like Big Brain 9000 scenarios. Reborn the Red Eyes Black Dragon, banish the Tidying, get Chamber's effect. You can grab either Hospitality or Changeover, but I want to get Changeover just to get in the game board. You gotta be safe. Better safe than sushi. Changeover. Get these 2, and then go off into your play. Dragonmaid Show. You have your negate now. Now you're clean to go. A final test hand. So I just cut it, or just shuffled it. We're gonna mill 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Draw 5. Nice. Are we breaking? Oh, that's weird. It's so weird. So, like, his play Red Eyes Fusion, and you're just gonna summon. Sometimes this deck be like that, but you do have 2 hand traps, so you can play around stuff or play with stuff. Let's end this, and let's end this. It's not that I have a choice. You just summon Dragoon, you kind of just do your thing. So I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen next turn. So I'm mill 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it on the bottom for the cutting. So I'm gonna set my Imperm. And next turn, I'm most likely gonna summon Phantasme and send the lower part off of Dark Dragoon. It's just awkward when you draw into it. But let's say I summon Phantasme and I draw 2. It'd probably pitch the World Legacy Guardragon because there's no application for it right now. So it's not bad. Now you have a reborn for your Dragoon. So see how good Phantasme is? It's good. It's good. And especially since you already summoned Dragoon, you thin your deck out of these bricks. Alright, you guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying really hard to push the deck to new limits. I know you can play it with Dragon Link and play like a whole bunch of like, you know, white rose, red rose, and then do all the rocket shenanigans. But for me personally, it's a little bit too much brickiness on my part, and I'd rather just play, you know, the hand traps and play like a kind of like a pseudo build where it's control, where you do summon Dragoon and then you have the imperms and the hand traps, and then when it really needs to, if you open the World Legacy Guardragon, then you can just combo off and just do a million things. I'm Akemi TCG. I will see you guys in the next one. Alright, bye guys.
The world ends now.